here in the United States with the terror cells that because of the wide open border. And then they exist, we have to watch the Straits of Hormuz. I'm like Tony. I don't think it's going to be that much of a problem because that's where all the Chinese oil comes from. And Israel this morning is doing a wonderful job knocking out the riot police, the police state, the IRGC. So we'll see what happens. But I'm optimistic, but this is not without danger.
Sure, sure. Folks, we're talking to Lieutenant Colonel Tony Schaefer and Brigadier General Blaine Holt on the Chris Salcedo Show. Gentlemen, let's discuss the execution of this operation, which was flawless. We found out that uncharacteristically there were no leaks, Colonel, and then we found out why there were no leaks, because only Republicans were briefed. No Democrat was briefed on this. Thus, our enemies had no idea that we were coming. Fair analysis?
Yeah, well, there's a couple of things. I want to give more credit to the military for actually doing some pretty good deception work. One of my specialties has been, deception programs. That's something I did, I think, as part of my information operations background. So, first off, there was a large-scale exercise in this month. It's called, let me look at the name here and make sure I get it right. My goodness, I can't find it here. Anyway, it was an Atlantic NATO exercise, something to do with the northern Atlantic, and we moved a bunch of tankers over as part of it, saying, hey, we're just going to go to the exercise. That's really good. And then it did a number of other things to create head fakes up and down the chain. And this was done in such a way to actually create conditions for people to be essentially asking questions. You're not going to hide everything we're going to do, but you have to create questions within the mind of the adversary. And the one thing that they did, which you always do, is always reinforce the bad thinking of your adversary. The adversary wanted to think, the Iranians wanted to think, we're going to get more time. They always give us more time. That's what they did during Operation Overlord with Operation Bodyguard. They kept Hitler, who wanted to believe we were going to invade Pas-de-Calais, that we're going to invade Pas-de-Calais, which we did. We went north. So the same thing here. Always reinforce the bad thinking of your adversary. Of course, that's what they did. They played this correctly, and so as someone who actually studies the deeper, more intense issues of warfare, this was a brilliant deception plan. And we all know you can't trust Democrats, so that's just kind of the icing on the cake.
Well, General, President Trump saying, I'm going to decide in 2 weeks. We had the B-2 bombers being sent to Guam. Everybody was watching the 3 carrier groups. So there was a build-up. The idea was, hey, we want to maximize pressure. President Trump rhetorically giving the 2 weeks and also saying, hey, we want them to come to the table. Maximum pressure, but the Americans will never do anything. And then, of course, the reason why the Democrats couldn't be read in is because we have the Democrat Party right now colluding with Communist China, our enemies, and destroying the United States of America from within. So it's pretty much a foregone conclusion that you can't trust Democrats with this kind of information, correct?
That's absolutely correct. There's